And bringing your head all the way up, keeping your mouth closed. Back to center. Go ahead and turn your head to the left. And to the right. Back to the center. Take your palms, put them behind your head. Bring your head gently down. And back up. Shoulder shrugs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll them backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And relax. Shake it out. Do arm swings to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And relax. We'll do trunk twists starting to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And relax. Go ahead and take your right hand, left hand on top, stretching out the bicep area. Go ahead and switch sides. Bring the left arm across the body. Pull it in with the right. And switch sides. Go ahead and put your hands on your hips. Do some hip rotations. And go the opposite direction. Back to center. Go ahead and put your left leg forward, right leg back, leaning in, stretching that calf. Remember to keep ears over shoulders over hips. And switch sides. And come up. Go ahead and feet a little bit closer together, hands on knees. Go ahead and circle your knees to the right. And then go to the left. And then circle both out. And back in. Good. Go ahead and find a spot on the floor. Start with feet together. And try to get your knees to go as close to the ground as you can, keeping your chest up. Put your left foot out, foot flexed. Go down. As you take an inhale, exhale, stretch just a little bit further. Staying in the same position, go ahead and point your toes. And come up. Go ahead and switch sides. Starting with your foot flexed. Go down and hold it. As you take an inhale, as you exhale, stretch just a little bit further. Staying in the same position, go ahead and point your toes. And come up. All right. Last week we talked about rooting and sinking, that idea of going down but also going out. Let's do a little bit of review before we build on top of that. Starting with our horse stance, making sure that ears are over shoulders or over hips. The idea is that we're sort of squeezing on, but that squeezing is almost a pushing. a creating of a sinking feel. We want to make sure that that sinking feel isn't necessarily that the whole body is sinking down. The idea is that it's a stretch, and from that stretch comes that sinking feel. The idea is that you still want to have the chest up, but at the same time as you squeeze, you're going down. Breath is always important with this. With every inhale, we have that feeling of going down. With every exhale, we're having a feeling of going out. From here, we also talked about picking fruit. So if you feel comfortable doing upper and lower, please go ahead and do so. If you're new to this, I would say just stick with the upper. But the idea is that as we reach up, we're also sort of going down. Reach, and as we come down, we have that spreading feel. So if you have space, go ahead and do this with me, where you have that feeling of going up, but also that feeling of going down and out. We're going to do this 2 more times. We exhale as we come down, we inhale as we go up. The physical movement is just that. The internal workings then, or we have that sinking feel, that rooting feel, we want to think about some sort of imagery. A lot of times we go ahead and we take images from a teacher. So I'll give you some images to go off of, but it really is then searching for those things within your day-to-day life that you do, that you can connect with and have the same sort of feeling too. We ended last week talking about sticky ball, so I'd like to pick up from there right now, continuing on with the lessons of both the horse stance and the picking fruit. The idea is that we have that horse stance feel, that sinking and rooting, left hand's on top, right hand's on bottom. The idea now is that the 2 hands are connected. It's not that one hand's going up, one hand's going down, it's that they are connected. What they connect with, as you separate out, I always think of a bellows cram, so the idea that you're sort of blowing air. As you separate apart, there's that tension. And as you push it back together, pushing that air out, there is that tension as well. I have an inhale as I come up. I have an exhale as I come back down. Keeping the palms facing one another. Be careful about wandering palms. You want to make sure that they're always above one another. So as we do this together then, inhaling as we come up, think about that separating out, and then as you bring it down and exhale, you're pushing it together, manufacturing that resistance. It's not that I'm bringing my hands down, it's that I'm pushing something together and my hands come down. So that imagery then of inhaling, pulling apart, exhaling, pushing together. You have a push and a pull. You use the breath then to sort of sew them together. That pull and that push affects different muscles. As you are having that feel then, that external piece is that I'm opening and I'm closing it. But that internal piece is that I am pulling and I am pushing, and I'm thinking about that imagery then, that bellows cramp that I'm pulling up and pushing down. As I do this, of course, I'm also having that sinking and that rooting. So like a juggler, we've got several things going on. And the idea is not to get caught on one or the other, but just to allow those to sort of cycle together. Starting again with me, in your horse stance, left hand on top, right hand on bottom. Inhale as you pull, thinking of those bellow cramps. Exhale as you push, pulling apart, pushing together. Inhale, exhale, sinking, rooting. That idea of all of those things working together. Be aware of its feel. and focus on the feel of it. Imagine that imagery of repetitive motion to create the feel and that connection. If you have some time to work on that this week, great. We're going to then start talking a little bit about how we connect postures. And the connections then are sort of the space between the notes. You've heard me say that before. It's the space between the notes that makes the music. If we had everything at once, all the notes, it'd be sort of jumbled up. So we want to have purposeful spaces, purposeful transitions then, from going to one to the other. And we'll talk more about that next week. If you have an opportunity to practice sticky ball, and in particular sticky ball, that pull, push, that inhale, exhale, that rooting and sinking piece. We'll pick up from here next week. Your joke, I would hate to leave you without a joke for the week. So, how do you know a traffic light is sick? It turns green. With that said, wishing you well in your practice and look forward to seeing you next time.